what will be the biggest challenge is it's Monday Night Football. Giants come into town on Monday. Maybe a team that is sort of as unpredictable as the Dolphins.
Hey, they're in the playoff hunt. So hey, don't they're not a very good team, and I have a hard time understanding why a team with Eli Manning and Odell Beckham and Rashad Jennings and obviously Jason Pierre-Paul, he's got some issues, but I have a hard time understanding why they're not good. Top Coughlin.
Well, wait a minute. I think there are people outside Miami that are saying the same thing. And Ndamukong Suh and Jarvis, Landry,
no,
and
I can tell you why
Miller.
Dolphins aren't good. They don't have enough depth. They don't have a top-tier quarterback. And their offensive line is fairly inconsistent. Well, I mean, and they're also losing line of scrimmage.
Well, you got a Giants team that struggles on defense. You got a Giants team that really struggles at the end of games. I think that you look at this, yes, this Giants team has stars, but Eli's always sort of been all over the place. Yeah. And he's in a downtime right now. And they've got one guy to throw to. One guy.
Oh, come on. Ruben Randall? No, listen, comparable teams. The spotlight's on Miami right now. This is and understand, Monday Night Football is what every player wants to play in. That's what he waits for. This is your opportunity to show the nation that you're a much better team than you are for the Giants or for Miami, because the nation will be watching. It'll be interesting to see how Dan Campbell gets his team ready to perform. He's giving them an extra day off, and let's see how much that rest assists them. But to me, it's going to have to come down to preparation, because there's no doubt in my mind that Tom Coughlin isn't going to outcoach Dan Campbell. You got to make sure your team is prepared, and preparation has been an issue for this team throughout Dan Campbell's tenure as a head coach.
All right. I wonder also, by the way, if we're on the older end of Monday Night Football is the biggest night of
I'm talking about for the players.
I know.
What they like is that the nation is watching.
I think Sunday night, I think those games are tending to be better. They're on broadcast TV. I think that broadcast is better. I think that is we might be.
But there are other
history
games
says Monday Night Football is.
Wait a minute. There are other games that everybody's watched that entire day. By the time Sunday Night Football comes, you might be gamed out. Monday Night Football.
Fair enough.
You've had a little bit of a break.
Okay.
You've had a little bit of a rest, and if the matchup is pretty decent, you're going to watch it.
All right. But by that same definition, Thursday night should be huge, because it's been 3 days.
It's been 3 days.
Those games have been pretty rough. All right, let's get to a question. At Shano13, how come Jarvis Landry doesn't get compared to Odell Beckham more?
Because he's not in a major media market like New York. He doesn't make amazing one-handed catches. He doesn't have dynamic celebrations like, oh, that sprinter celebration, that hurdler celebration. That's classic right there. People got to understand, they are close like brothers. Like, you in the offseason, you will not see them apart. Talent-wise, they're very similar. Just one has speed, one doesn't.
Right.
Unfortunately, Dolphins, you got the one that doesn't.
Beckham's a little bigger too, right?
I don't think so. I think they're pretty comparable size. Okay. They're both like 6 foot, 6 foot, 190 pounds. Neither of them are Brandon Marshalls of the league. Of course not. But very similar talents, very similar numbers if you look at what they're producing. It's just one's in a major media market with a better QB, and the others.
And the more memorable, that one touchdown that Beckham has, and the numbers. I mean, the numbers have gone.
Beckham's already over 1,000 yards.
But you wonder if you switch quarterbacks.
What a shot.
What happened?
Low blow, kneecapper to Ryan Tannehill.
The Fins started 3 rookies on Sunday: Devontae Parker, Jordan Phillips, and Bobby McCain. How did the youngsters perform?
Oh, well, certainly you got to like what you saw from Devontae Parker. He high-pointed that ball. It was an amazing throw by Ryan Tannehill, a big boy throw.
Big boy throw.
A big boy throw. And I call them, people got to understand, it's not an insult. I call them big boy throws. These are the throws that the Peyton Mannings, the Ben Roethlisbergers, the Phillip Rivers, even the Eli Mannings, they make, where they give your receiver an opportunity to go make a play. How often can you say that about Ryan Tannehill? Where he puts his receivers in position to go make a play. Devontae Parker high-pointed that ball, and that is what he can do. And he still needs a little bit of work, still runs his routes a little bit soft, still a little bit of slow running out of his breaks. But the one thing that he could do is high-point a ball. He can run a slant, and he can high-point a ball. And that was beautiful. Now, Jordan Phillips, I think, had just as much of an impact.
Yeah.
His tip at the line of scrimmage led to the tip to basically the first points the Dolphins scored off Rashad Jones's touchdown. And he was in the passing lane. Now, he does need work as a run blocker. There were plenty of plays where you see a 330-pound man on the ground, and that's not a good thing, especially when you're a nose tackle, which is what Jordan Phillips is. He lines up a yard off this line of scrimmage, which is a little bit concerning, and I got to figure out what that's all about. But he does have a knack for getting in passing lanes and being able to deflect and block shots. Now, the other guy, Bobby McCain.
Yeah.
He was picked on, as anybody is when they play opposite Brent Grimes. They are going to get picked on. And Bobby McCain did okay. He didn't do anything impressive. He allowed a lot of catches. But what he did is he kept fighting, and he responded at the end of the game and made a play that helped the Dolphins win the game. All have made a step in the right direction. Same thing with Jarvis Landry. So now we're at the point where we can see that this rookie draft class might be salvageable. At the beginning of the year, I thought they were a disaster.
Yeah, they seem to be coming along at least a little bit. So we go to our next question. Hernan Cortez, is a youth movement needed in Miami? Should we be seeing a ton of Parker Phillips, McCain, Jay Ajayi, Jameel Douglas, Billy Turner, Terrence Fadage? These are the guys that should be playing.
Absolutely. I said that at the month ago when we were doing the show. You need to move towards a youth movement, just because if a player, insert the name, is not critical to the team's success, like a Jordan Cameron, and you know that he's not going to be on the team next year, you shouldn't be playing him, because it's a wasted opportunity. That explains why they cut Zach Bowman. Zach Bowman was a decent player, and he was a pretty good gunner. But the truth is, he wasn't going to be on the team next year. So he didn't need to be on this roster.
Right.
They needed a roster spot. Whoop, you got to go. But in fairness to whoever's going to be coaching this Dolphins team next year, they've got to be able to have film to evaluate these players to see what it is that they have on their roster and what it is that they need. If you do not play these young players, you will never know.
Right. So you 20 touches for Lamar Miller. How many touches do you want to see Jay Ajayi getting?
Probably about 5. Here's the difference with Lamar Miller. I don't know if he's going to be on the team next year because he's a free agent. It's probably going to cost you about $4 million a year, maybe $12 million contract to re-sign him. That's the baseline. And I don't know if the Dolphins are going to be willing to pay that. But then again, I don't know if Jay Ajayi can be that workhorse back. But Lamar Miller is a very good back in the NFL, probably a top 10 back. You don't not use that. You don't not utilize that. I mean, look at his yards per carry average, for Christ's sakes. you better find a way to use it.
Right. Let's move on, but I want to get to this question before we talk about your the coaching candidates. Ken Loftus asks, I never see Ndamukong Suh celebrating good plays with teammates. How does this affect team chemistry?
I can tell you, just asking around, team chemistry, particularly with Ndamukong Suh, is not that great. He is a mercenary.
Yeah.
We knew that when he signed. He is about Ndamukong Suh. We knew that when he signed. And the reality is, it's having some collateral damage and effect on the team.
In what way?
Chemistry.
Yeah.
They're not feeling him. And he's asked to step up and be a better leader. I don't think he knows how to be a better leader. And there's been a report about how he basically had a tirade and challenged his teammates. And while the things that he said while challenging his teammates were kind of accurate, the delivery was piss poor.
Right.
And that pissed off a lot of his teammates. And he's not making friends. And that's never a good thing. And when you say to your organization, not just your teammates, but to your coaches, to front office, that I decide who stays and goes, while it might be true, because he does have a good relationship with Steve Ross, while it might be true, it does not create any friendships for you.
No, I mean, you want to fight for and with the guy next to you, because you won't know the guy next to you is going to have your back.
Absolutely,
and I think
no question
that
about
there's a doubt
I mean,
in that.
in terms of work ethic, I've heard that it is not where it was in Detroit. In terms of play on the field, from people who watch the film, evaluators, I have heard that it is not where it was in Detroit. So if Ndamukong Suh is going to call out his teammates, he better take a look in the mirror as well and make sure that his performance, his play, his work ethic, his example, his leadership cannot be questioned. And that's not the case right now.
That's good stuff right there. That's a hot take. Burn it. Light it on fire. Okay.